the best plan. The best plan. Does God have the best plan for governance? I believe he does. I believe, this is me, I believe we have a big problem with immigration. I believe God has the best plan to solve the immigration problem. We have a big problem in our society right now regarding all kinds of joblessness, poverty, homelessness. I believe if our leaders would take time to ask God, if necessary, take time to fast and pray and say, God, what is your solution for homelessness? Don't you believe that the Spirit of God will have a quick answer for them that will make that problem disappear? Does God have the best plan? Yes, because the government shall be upon his shoulder. And somebody says, wait a minute, Jesus lived many years ago. Listen, Jesus Christ is alive yesterday, today, and forever. University students were asked, and this is just a quick something for you to laugh at, so be ready to laugh. University students were asked, do you think Jesus Christ would understand the radar system? Radar system is where you send sound waves out into the space, and then when it hits a metal, it reverts back to tell you how far it is and what kind of object it is. They use that to protect us. The army, the military uses that radar system. University students were asked, do you think Jesus Christ understands the radar system? Listen, 70% of them said it's too complicated for Jesus Christ. He will not understand. Hallelujah. Guess what? Before radar was made, Jesus invented or created the bat. The bat is a blind animal, and it uses radar system. Bat sends out sound, and they see, and they can fly at night anywhere they want. They don't run into anything. You know why? Because they are advanced radar system. So our Lord, of his kingdom, there shall be no end. We're not serving somebody that is old and doesn't know what to do. We're serving the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. He is the master of the universe. He is the one who says to the waves of the sea, shh, be quiet, and it's quieted down. He is the one who says to the blind eyes, be open, and it is open. He is the one that says to the crippled man that has never walked, get up, take up your mat and walk, and that person is made whole. The one we serve is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. There is no government that can succeed without him. Historically, you can look anywhere. Many countries without God end up becoming countries that are chaotic politically, and they end up having a despot, a tyrant that rules them. The United States is not the oldest country in the world. We're only about 200-something years old. But do you know that our Constitution is the oldest Constitution in the world? You ask why? Because every other government, somebody gets in and he changed the Constitution to suit him. Another person comes after him and says, I don't like the Constitution because it doesn't fit me. Let's change it. Here, our Constitution stands. Please don't vote for people who say, let's change the Constitution, because they're just self-serving people. Our Constitution was founded and written by people, by the way, like us, who prayed, who asked God for guidance. That is why we need this governance conference. We need to open our eyes. We need to be able to see. Next slide, please. Promise Governance Institute has 4 pillars. And they are exactly the ABCP I told you about. The P is to bring political leaders with authority, with wisdom together. Politicians that are Christians first, not second, that believe in Jesus Christ, that want to serve him, must be in office. Why? They can make policies and procedures that will help the nation instead of hurt the nation. Without that kind of belief, we will have politicians that are going to be self-serving. They're going to look out for what they want. And that is why you and I must be involved in this kind of conference where we can get the information, where we can talk together. Second one, business practices with excellence. We don't want businesses that cheat people. Doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't help you, it doesn't do you any good. If you cheat, you will be found out. When you are found out, Bernie Madoff was a great man that handled millions of dollars. But he was not doing the right thing. Where is he now? He's in jail. He's in jail. Businesses must be honest and pay the right amount of remuneration for the right amount of work. And without Christian principle, that's impossible to do. I know a company today, well, I'll say it, okay? We're not afraid to say things. Apple is a big company. Do you know that your Apple phone, if you have an Apple phone, iPhone, it cost them $85 to make. When was the last time you bought an iPhone for $80? They charge you, some of them now are charging you over $1,000. I don't think that's a good business practice, but I cannot expect it from them because they don't have the principle that we're talking about. May God raise up a company from Christian people that will be able to say, wait a minute, I can develop an iPhone better than iPhone, and I'll sell it to you for a reasonable profit, not a killing. We need that. You cannot do that without godly principle. We need governance conference like this where we talk about it. In church, if you talk about this, we may have the same people that listen to us all the time anyway. They may know. But in a business setting like this, where we go to a hotel and invite people that are in business, invite people that are in politics, invite people that are in academics, we can talk about this. We can discuss this. And it doesn't take much, by the way. It doesn't take 12 disciples change the world, ladies and gentlemen, with the power of God. There's more than 12 of us here. Next one, academic expertise with research. Education has started out as good to teach people to read, and then today it's all gone wild. They want to prove that we came from monkeys. They want to prove that we're millions of years, the earth is millions of years old. I listened to a Christian scientist not too long ago on Channel 40, Christian station. This scientist said this. He said the theory that says man has evolved over millions and millions of years is very difficult to believe. He said, let me tell you why. He said, let me tell you why. He said, our bones, when a person dies and is buried, the bones don't decay quickly. They take a long time, especially the teeth area, the skull area. They take a long time, years and years and years. He said all the evidence that the scientists who support that we have lived millions and millions and millions of years, he said if you collect all the bones that they have found as evidence from Africa, from Asia, from America, if you combine them together, you can hardly fill a truck, one truck. All the bones that supposedly tell us that, he said, if it is true, this is a scientist speaking, this is not my words, a scientist, he said, if it was true that we've lived millions and millions of years, he said, we will find tons and tons and tons and tons of bones all over this continent, all over Africa, all over Asia. But he said, they don't exist. So I said, boy, that sounds real good. That's a good reasoning, because he's not trying to attack them and say your science is wrong. All he's saying is, where is your evidence? Where is your evidence? If you tell me that one cell amoeba became 2 cell amoeba and became 4 cell amoeba, where is the evidence? If you say there's a human being was monkey and then it became a man, where is the evidence? How come we don't see some monkeys turning into humans now? See, education has gone wild. But what do they want to teach you? I'm sorry to say. They want to teach you that your sex is not really right. For some reason, you're not a man, you're not a woman. What are you then? Oh, we don't know. You're somewhere in between. Or one day you are this, and one day... What kind of life is that? What kind of theory? What kind of education, academic thing is that? Academics is supposed to be with proof, with research, with some kind of evidence that shows things are so. It is not so. That's why we need academicians that believe God. That's why we need you. Study. Go to college. Go to the university. Get your degrees. And stay in the Bible. And show people that the God way is the true way, not the world's way. Finally, church leaders and church people with integrity. Listen, the glue that holds all these things together, I believe, is the church. If you take away the church, you will take away the glue that holds society together. In countries, and I'm not just saying that as a theory, in countries where Christians are persecuted, where they cannot carry the Bible, where they cannot practice their faith, their economy is going down, their relationship is going down, they have internal fights all the time. People are fleeing from these nations. In countries where God is upheld, where the principle of God is followed, people are standing in line to get in, to say, let me come to your country. Many Muslims, even Muslims, are wanting to come to this country. Do you know why? Because we have the God of the Bible with us. And they know that the principle we live by is a godly principle. So this thing, the church needs to be the glue that holds everything together. Why do we do this conference? I'll give you 3 reasons. 1, we need the information. Information is knowledge. The right kind of information. If I told you the freeway that you came on or the highway that you came on is closed down because of an accident, and I give you that information, you will avoid staying in traffic for 2 hours or 3 hours. So information is very important. We don't know all the answers. We're not saying Promise Christian University has got all the answers. We really don't. But we have some information. We want to give you that information. That's the first. Number 2, we want to bring you together. We want to bring the academics. We want to bring the business. We want to bring the church. We want to bring the political leaders together to one table. Let us talk. Let us discuss. Let us find ways in which we can serve our God the right way, in which we can worship our God the right way, in which we can do business the right way, in which we can do education the right way. We want that platform where we can converse and talk. And number 3, we want to excite you about this thing. Because this is not just a conference. This is a movement. And I want to show you a new way that I believe church can reach. So quickly, and this one is shorter, much shorter than the other. I think I don't know, you mixed up my time, so I don't know if Okay, this one is a new mission field. The four pillars working together. The academic, the business, the political, and the church leaders working together. Next slide. Can do something, because listen, the outreach in the past for the 500 years that mission fields have been in business, churches have gone to reach the poor, the sick, and the underprivileged of society. They left out, they literally left out. They went to Africa, they raised funds for the hungry and the sick. They went to Africa, to Latin America. No concerns, almost practically, for the rich people. No concerns for the political leaders. No concern because they said this is dirty, politics is dirty, stay away from it. But next slide. We need a new approach. This is where we call this a movement rather than just an idea. Mission was a movement 500 years ago when they said, let's send missionaries. It was a movement. Today, I think we need a new movement. The new movement is use academic research, which is knowledge-based, which is God-fearing, bring the business people together with excellence that don't put profit as number one, but service. Bring the politicians that become change agents to transform their nation. And then the church, the glue that holds everything together. That's what we need. And may God bless you and help you to catch that vision. Because it is really, if you think about it, if you stop and think about it, it's a new approach. It's a new one. And it's a big, big movement. I cannot do it by myself.